It remains one of the finest microbreweries in the country, serving a niche that's very different from the giant beer companies. Good evening and welcome to Red's Classic Theater as we come to you from the Granville Island Brewery. Throughout the program, we'll show you around the facility and how it pioneered the cottage brewery industry in Canada. Our movie this week is the 1982 United Artists production, Rocky III, starring Sylvester Stallone, who also directed the film. Instead of relying on new gimmicks and expensive special effects, Stallone followed a tried and true format for the second sequel. He also employed extensive use of what they call a Steadicam. Now, this is a handheld news camera, and it gave the film more of a realistic feeling. We'll tell you more about the movie a little later on. But right now, here's Act One of Rocky III, starring Burgess Meredith and Sylvester Stallone. Hope you're enjoying Rocky III on Red's Classic Theater as we visit the Granville Island Brewery. The operators of this highly successful cottage brewery specialize in only natural, unpasteurized beers, and they've been doing so since 1984. And you can find their product throughout the province of British Columbia, however, not beyond the BC borders. Now, this is because Granville Island Brewery products are meant to be consumed within 3 to 4 weeks of leaving the plant. An important difference from the large mainstream beer producers. Granville Island Brewery uses only 4 ingredients in making their beers: water, malt, hops, and yeast. Now, this is in accordance with a brewing principle that dates back over 400 years, the Bavarian Purity Law of 1516, which ensures no chemicals, additives, or preservatives will be used. And the 4 beer varieties made by Granville Island Brewing are Granville Island Lager, a Bavarian Pilsner, Lord Granville Pale Ale, a classic English-style ale, Island Light, and Island Bock, a dark malt beer. And we'll be back with more in just a moment. Another popular feature of the Granville Island Brewery is the retail beer store. Now, here customers can buy freshly brewed Granville Island beers, as well as a selection of clothing, giftware, and souvenirs bearing the company's insignia. Granville Island Brewery also conducts daily taste tests, and tours are available. For more information, call the brewery at 688-9927. That's 688-9927. Now let's return to Rocky III, starring Sylvester Stallone. Hope you're enjoying Rocky III on Red's Classic Theater as we visit the Granville Island Brewery this week. One of the most interesting characters in the first 3 Rocky films was the role of Mickey, played by Burgess Meredith. The success that surrounded the Rocky films overwhelmed Meredith. His long career spanned over 120 movies, but these were the first smash hits he'd ever enjoyed. And audiences never seemed to tire of Stallone's story formula of the underdog overcoming long odds. At over $66 million in gross revenue, Rocky III earned more than both of its predecessors. And a few years later, Rocky IV would earn even more. A little trivia for you. When Rocky IV was filmed here in Vancouver, Sylvester Stallone used to work out at the Olympic Gym only a few blocks from Granville Island. Now let's return to Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone. Last week in our mailbag segment here on Red's Classic Theater, we told you how you could win a $1,500 blue topaz from Fawcett Gems in Edmonton and in Chemainus. And you still have a chance as we continue with our promotion of director Ridley Scott and Paramount Pictures' new film, 1492, Conquest of Paradise. Now, in case you missed it, here's a final chance to win this blue topaz in the new and patented Maltese cross pattern to commemorate Columbus's voyage of discovery. Now, here's what you do. Send your name, address, and phone number to 1492 in care of Television 12 in Vancouver. Now, that's our regular Red's Classic Theater address, so make sure you mark your envelope 1492. Now, the winner of this great prize will be notified by mail. Speaking of mail, let's look at our mailbag and recent requests, and thank you for continuing to write to us. E.W. and Agnes Heacock of Squim, Washington. They'd like to see A World in His Arms, starring Gregory Peck and Anthony Quinn. And Karen Griffin of Maple Ridge would like to see Green Dolphin Street, starring Lana Turner and Van Heflin. Coming up next week, Albert Finney, Carol Burnett, and Aileen Quinn star in the 1982 musical production Annie. Great entertainment for the whole family. Speaking of great entertainment, let's get back to Rocky III. Hope you're enjoying Rocky III featuring Mr. T on Red's Classic Theater as we visit the Granville Island Brewery. Getting the role of Clubber Lang was the big break Mr. T had hoped for. But gaining the part, Mr. T, whose real name is Lawrence Tiro, was put through some grueling paces by Sylvester Stallone. These included losing 30 pounds, 5 miles of road work daily, weight training, and 200 push-ups and sit-ups. And then Stallone and Mr. T would spar in the ring for 2 hours. In appreciation of his efforts, Sylvester Stallone gave Mr. T a solid silver belt buckle at the conclusion of the film. But the big benefit came in the form of a regular part in a new television series. From 1983 through 1987, Mr. T starred with George Peppard in the A-Team. And now, Rocky III continues. From the Granville Island Brewery, it's time for our weekly movie trivia quiz. In 1985, Sylvester Stallone made 2 films that were huge hits at the box office. One was Rocky IV. Can you name the other? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. Here's the answer to our movie trivia quiz. Besides Rocky IV, the other Sylvester Stallone smash hit at the movie theaters in 1985 was Rambo: First Blood Part 2. It took in $78 million at the box office. That year, the business magazine Forbes estimated Stallone's total worth at $650 million, making him the wealthiest star in the history of motion pictures. And now back to Rocky Part 3. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. I hope you enjoyed Rocky III, starring Sylvester Stallone, Burgess Meredith, and Mr. T. Be sure to join us next Sunday on Red's Classic Theater for Annie, starring Albert Finney, Carol Burnett, and Aileen Quinn. In the meantime, if you have a movie favorite that you'd really like to see, please write to yours truly, Red Robinson, in care of Television 12 in Vancouver. And I'd like to thank Mark Simpson and his staff here at Granville Island Breweries for hosting our show this week. Don't forget, Granville Island Brewery is open 7 days a week, and tours are available. Join us next Sunday night for Annie. Until then, from Granville Island and the brewery, good night, everybody.